Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the Voice of the Cape Facebook page as well as YouTube. We are in the Matric revision program, and today we are covering business studies, uh, and that is with Mogamad Imraan Majiet, head of business studies at the Trafalgar High School, and you'll be covering business operations in today's edition. I now hand over to Mohammed Imran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to session 2 of the Business Studies Revision Intervention. Today we'll be going over business operations. So we move over to the next slide. We have business operations over there, and we are going to go again over the paper layout. So as I said last week, paper 1, we covered business environments. Today we'll be covering business operations, which will then cover paper 1 as a whole. Paper 2 consists of business roles and then business ventures as well, which we'll go over next week and the week thereafter. So section A, question 1 would then be about your multiple choice questions. Choose a correct word and then mix and match. Section B again would then be question 2, 3, and 4. Question 2 will be business environments, question 3, business operations, and then question 4 would be miscellaneous. Section C would be your 2 essays. Section A, questions 5 would be business environments, and question 6 would then be business operations essay. Remember, you have to choose one essay. Section B, you have to choose 2 questions, and then section A is compulsory. We now move on and see what we're going to do for business operations today. So, business operations. The topics that we'll cover today is total quality management. We'd go over the term quality, quality control, quality assurance, quality of performance, quality management, management systems, and TQM. We would also go over quality indicators as well as how quality of performance can contribute to the success and or failure of each business function, as well as the PDCA model and TQM elements. We're also going over the HR, but that will go on later on during the session. So now we need to know the definitions of the total quality management or the TQM. The reason being for this, they will ask us these questions, as well as we need to understand what these terms are before we can answer any other question. So please, guys, on my screen, on your screen, look at the different terms so that you can understand them and then interpret it into your examination. These questions then will come by section A, section B, and section C. Section B, it will be most likely covered at question 3 and 4, and then as well as in the essay question, it would be covered in section C, question 6. So, what is quality? Quality refers to a good or service or service's ability to satisfy a specific need. Quality control, inspection of the final product to ensure that it meets the required standards. So the key word is the final product. It is the overall inspection that you need to remember. The quality assurance carried out during and after, very important, during and after the production process to ensure required standards have been met. They will definitely ask you to differentiate between quality control, which is inspection of the final product, and quality assurance, which is carried out during and after the production process. We now move on to quality of performance. So, total performance of each department measured against the specified standards. Quality management, the process of managing all activities needed to ensure a business produces goods and services of constantly high standard. So now you need to differentiate again between quality of performance and quality management. Quality management systems are a formalized system that documents processes, procedures, and responsibilities for achieving quality. So what's going to happen? I'm going to use an example. Um, One of my aunties, let's say Auntie Asia. Auntie Asia has a manufacturing company. So what happens? Quality control or quality assurance takes place there. So how does quality control take place? Quality control takes place once she is done making the dresses for a customer. Then quality control takes place when they check out the final product. It is an inspection of the final product whether now check if the item is correctly made. Quality assurance, where they are assuring you the product will be correct once and for all, where they now check out during they have inspection during and after the product has been made. So during they can check if it's to size, if there's no marks on the material, and therefore the procedure can go on. And then afterwards they do another inspection where they see that everything is in order and in place. We now move on. Total quality management. So TQM is an integrated system applied throughout the organization which helps to provide quality products or services to customers. So how quality of performance can contribute to the success and or failure of each business function. So remember guys, in grade 8 we went over, or you guys went over, the 8 business functions. The 8 business functions forms part of the micro environment. Reason being, it is inside of the business. So the 8 business functions that we get is general management, marketing function, administrative function, purchasing function, human resources function, public relations function, production function, financial function, as well as a good quality management. So, the quality indicators of general management function, please, you need to know all of these. Develop effective strategic plans. Remember, our general management is our top management where they oversee every single thing. So, efficient allocation of resources as well as shared vision, mission, and values are communicated effectively. We look at the quality indicators of the marketing function. This one seems to come in a lot every year for the past 2 to 3 years. The marketing quality indicator has come in your final paper. So please go over this one as well. So acquire greater market share through good customer service. So marketing function, how does marketing function takes place? We can now promote the business through various ways, but also the best way is through word of mouth. If I'll tell you Auntie Asia's manufacturing company produces well made dresses, you will then tell others and so forth. That will go from one person to the next person, and then everyone would know about Auntie Asia's manufacturing. So you'll also identify competitive edge through regular market research and use aggressive advertising campaigns to sustain the market share. A quality indicator of the administrative function, fast and reliable data capturing and processing systems, handle complaints quickly and effectively. So if a complaint comes in, what you do is you settle down everyone. You then handle the complaint by listening to the person firstly. Once the person is done speaking, then you reply. You don't stop the person and reply, you let them finish before you reply. So you also use modern technology efficiently. Why? Because today all we need to do is we can just type our things out on a laptop, and then we will then everything will then be processed. Quality indicators of the purchasing function. So the purchasing function we know is buying things for the company. So they buy raw materials in bulk, select reliable suppliers, as well as place orders timelessly. Quality indicators of human resources function ensure fair and equitable selection process, good relationship with employees, low rate of staff turnover in the business. Remember, you have a problem within the company, you then go to human resource manager. Also, the human resources manager then tends to hire and fire people. If you have a problem and they don't sort it out, I told you guys last week, you then will go to the CCMA, where the CCMA will then send out a person to the company and they will oversee that everything is run smoothly. The quality indicator of the public relations. Remember, public relations is the image of the company. So, dealing quickly with negative publicity, providing regular press releases, deliver quality goods or services that promote the brand with key stakeholders. Quality indicators of production function. Products and services could be produced at the lowest possible cost to allow for profit maximization, communicate roles and responsibilities to their workers, as well as render good after sales service. The last one of your eight business functions would be the financial function, which will now obtain capital from the most reliable sources. So you'll have your angel funding, your venture capital, all of those things will now come into play. We will then implement financial control systems to prevent fraud. We all know that fraudulent takes place, where people now make fake IDs and they now try to buy on someone else's card as well. So you also draw up accurate financial statements timelessly. Do you see how accounting and business now interlinks, but business interlinks with all the other subjects, and you'll see as we go along. Advantages or benefits of a good quality management system: time and resources are used effectively, products and services are constantly improved, increased market share and profitability. We now move over to the TQM elements. Guys, these elements you need to know. So there are only five TQM elements. So the first one is continuous skills development, total client or customer satisfaction, continuous improvement of processes and systems, adequate financing and capacity, monitoring and evaluation of quality processes. So what happens here, guys? This TQM elements will definitely come in come in as an essay question. If not this essay, it will then be the HR essay. So the reason why I put down the positives and negatives for you is that they will always ask, tell us the impact of one of the TQM elements. So therefore, you will then take one of the TQM elements, or they will ask you to provide for a certain TQM element. Then you would know. It will count for 8 marks, so you will need to know two positives and two negatives. So let's start. Elaborate on the meaning of TQM. TQM once again focuses on achieving customer satisfaction and looks for continuous improvement in all the business's processes, products, and services. The first TQM element: impact of continuous improvement, processes, and systems on large businesses. If you look in last year's paper, this one came in. The positives about this is that have more resources to check on quality performance, enough capital for new equipment needed for processes and systems, use quality circles to stay ahead of competitors. The negative thing about this is that large scale manufacturing can complicate quality control. Reason being, if you have a large scale of manufacturing, you can't go through all of those items before it goes out. Therefore, at some shops, you'll always get that they then tend to sell for much cheaper. The risk of changing parts of the business that are working well. We move on to the next one, which should be the continuous skills development. So, the ability to afford specialized or skilled employees. That's good because they bring a sense of stability to the company. May be able to hire qualified trainers to train employees on a regular basis. The negative thing about this is that trained employees may leave for better jobs after they gained more skills. And those of you who know what I'm speaking about, as one or two of your friends have told you this, they jump from company to company where they then just get the training. Once they receive the training, they then leave to another company to build up the experience and the skills. The other negative about this is that it demotivates employees if they do not receive recognition for training. Monitoring and evaluation of quality processes on large businesses. So, the positives about this is that it may be equipped to get things done right the first time. So, therefore, quality assurance will take place. Improve performance and maintain high quality standards. Modify interventions that may improve the efficient use of resources. The negative about this is that it often takes longer to detect problems or respond to weaknesses, as well it is not viable to check quality of all the products. Impact of total client to customer satisfaction. The positives: continuously promote a positive company image. So you'd always want to promote the company image. The way you do that is treating the customer right all the time. So yes, we know the customer should be right all the time once you have a business, but at times they can be wrong as well. But you treat them with respect. The way you handle situations is a key factor in having a business. So it also may be able to gain access to the global market and may lead to increased competitiveness. The negatives about this is that some employees seldom encounter customers. Not all employees may be committed to total client satisfaction. The last one of the TQM elements would be the adequate financing and capacity on large businesses. The positives about this is that have sufficient financing to test everything before implementing. Yes, so if you have a large business, you would want to have that sufficient financing. Reason being, you'd want to test your equipment beforehand so that you know there would be no mistakes. Also, you can afford product researchers to gather information and also look at what is the new trend that our people are going with today so that those we can make those suggestions in order to make that products for our customers. Also, we can afford to purchase quality raw materials and equipment to have a quality product. Remember, guys, what is quality? Quality is the specified need for the goods and services which is made of quality. It should be of quality at all times. The negatives: when demand for product increases and orders come in faster than expected, a lack of financing can hamper supply. Also, rapidly growing companies consume large amounts of capital. We now move over. So, how do we apply the PDCA model? You should know what PDCA means because they will ask you in the examination. What will they ask you? They'll ask you, please let us know what PDCA is. You then answer. It is for 4 marks, 1 mark for each answer. It would be plan, do, check, and act. So, what is plan? Plan is to identify the problem, plan the method, and approach. You do this in your daily lives as well. So, do implement the change on a small scale and implement the processes and systems. Check, use data to analyze the results of change, determine whether it made a difference. The last one would be act. Institutionalize improvement, continuously revise the process. So, firstly, plan, do, check, and then act. So, now we move over to human resources. Remember, business operations is divided into two sections, which is TQM and then now HR. So HR might seem a bit a lot, but it is nice to know because this is what you will use, or the knowledge that you will need when you go and apply for the job for a job next year. So Matrix, let's go over HR management. I know a lot of our people and a lot of you guys want to study HR management next year. So, HR management or human resources consists of job description and job specification, recruitment, selection, placement, induction, peace, and time related. We now move over. So, you need to know the difference. They will tell you, they will give you a scenario in the examination. You will then need to identify what the job description is and what the job specification is. So, in order to make it easier, we look at the word description. So, description, another word that comes from description is describe. So, you are describing the job. Definition for that is describes duties and responsibilities of a specific job. Written description of the job and its requirements. Job specification. If we break up the word specification, another word that comes from specification is qualification. So it describes the personal characteristics and minimum qualifications required for the job. So job description, you're describing what you're going to do. Job specification is your qualifications that you need for the job. So it is written description of the qualifications and experience required. We are now looking at our recruitment procedure. We look at internal recruitment firstly. So, description of internal recruitment is that refers to the use of internal resources to advertise vacancies inside the business. So, once a business opportunity comes open or a vacant position comes open, how do they now recruit members internally? They will then have internal emails they will send to their employees. They will have business newsletters running around in the business, recommendation of current employees, and will put up this notice on a notice board. External means outside, so this is the use of resources outside of the business and how they're going to advertise this out vacancies outside the business. You need to know that it is recruitment agencies, print media, so you will find it in newspapers where everyone can see. Remember, external, outside of the business, so anyone can apply for this position. You'll also hear it on electronic media such as the radio. Guys, you definitely hear it on 91.3 Voice of the Cape. Also, it will be put in on notice boards such as billboards. When you drive past certain areas, you will see billboards and you will see that recruitment agency or notice up on that board. So, now the recruitment procedures. Before we move on to there, please know the advantages and disadvantages of internal and external. Know at least one bullet of each year, as this will help you to identify what internal and external recruitment is. Recruitment procedure, you need to know all 6 steps. Firstly, HR must prepare a job analysis that includes a job specification and a job description. Choose the method of recruitment, example, internal or external, whether you're going to hire inside of the business or you're going to hire people from outside of the business. So vacancies must be internally advertised via internet email or word of mouth. If the external recruitment is chosen, then select the relevant recruitment methods by maybe putting it up on a billboard or playing it on the Voice of the Cape or any other radio station to now help those people in need of jobs. The HRM prepare advertisement with the relevant information as well as place the advertisement in the selected media to draw the best candidates. We'll now move on from the recruitment procedure. We're moving on to the selection procedure. So the selection procedure, what is this? This might come in as an essay or a long question in your examination. So you receive application forms and sort them according to the criteria, check information and contact references in the CVs. So what happens here most of the time, people put down fake contact references, and sometimes the business does contact your references. So make sure you put down the proper people down as your reference. Compile shortlist of suitable candidates. Interview shortlisted candidates, test candidates to ensure that the best candidate is selected. Offer work to the candidate in writing. So before the interview and during the interview, we'll now go over the role of the interview and the role of the interviewer. So, the interviewer must set a core set of questions so that the same questions are asked for each candidate. Everyone must get the same questions asked to them. So, easy way to remember this, check the CVs for anything that may need to be explained. We all know that same questions need to be asked. Remember that, check the CVs for anything that needs to be explained, and then also book and prepare the venue for the interview. Inform all shortlisted candidates of the date and place of the interview. The role of the interviewer, give each candidate the same amount of time. This is happening now during the interview. Introduce the interviewee to the panel, um, to interview panel to each candidate. So you will now then introduce the interviewer to the panel of experts or those that sitting on the panel. Make the interviewee feel at ease. Always, as a HR manager, you then make your client or your interviewer feel at ease by telling him, you know what, relax, calm down. Nothing we will ask you will make you feel uneasy. Everything will be smooth and you'll be successful. Don't worry. The role of the candidate, greet the interviewer by name with a firm handshake and smile friendly. Listen carefully to the questions before you respond. Make eye contact and keep good body language. So, the employment contract, what will happen here? Employment contract is an agreement between the employer and the employee and is legally binded. You'll also see this in one of the acts, the Labor Relations Acts, or the Employment Equity Act as well. So the legal requirements here of the employment contract, employer and employee must agree to changes. Employer and employee must both sign the contract as well as must include a code of conduct and a code of ethics. The aspects of the employment contract should be details of the employee, details of the business, job description, remember describing what the person is going to do, then job specification, what qualifications the person needs, salary, fringe benefits, so the benefits the employee will receive, such as maybe housing benefits or car allowance, working hours, and then leave. So the reason for termination of the contract would then be misconduct, retrenchment, resignation, retirement, or incapacity, meaning they cannot work. So the impact of fringe benefits would be your pension fund, medical assistance, provident fund, funeral benefits, or motor allowances. The positives about this is that it attracts fringe benefits, lead to less worker turnover, and also attracting qualified employees. So if I'm a business owner now and I tell a person from another company, look, come work for me, I will give you the same amount of money, but also I will offer you a motor allowance. So this way, companies are using it to their benefit in order to attract more qualified employees to help make a profit in their company. So it improves productivity, leading to a higher profitability. The negatives about this is that businesses cannot offer fringe benefits or do not succeed in getting skilled workers. It can lead to corruption. It is unfairly awarded. Benefits are extra costs that can lead to cash flow problems. So the induction and placement procedure. Placement. So, placement procedure, the employer sets responsibilities for the employee. Employer compare the expectations of the job and the competencies of the employee. Determine the employee's strengths and weaknesses through psychometric tests. They need to test the employee first whether he is capable of doing the specified job, especially when a person works with motors or heavy machinery. They need to have a psychometric test whether they are capable of working with those machines so that they do not get injured. So, what happens if they get injured? The COIDA Act then takes place. See how everything works hand in business studies. Induction. So, new employees need to be familiar with the work environment, products, and services. The purpose of induction is to introduce new employees to management and colleagues to make them feel at ease and know who is who in the business. Also, introduce new employees to their workspace and give new employees a tour through the building so they know where the toilet is and where each department of the business is. Aspects of induction program: introduction to colleagues, safety regulations and rules, oversight of the business, and tour around the premises. Benefits of the program: with new employees can establish relationship with co-employees. This way they will then form a bond and teamwork will take place. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Allow new employees to settle quickly and ensure that new employees know the rules. So there will always be rules and regulations in the business which everyone should know. If they do not follow the rules or regulations, they will then get a warning. Once there are three warnings, they can be dismissed. Salary determination methods, you need to know this. This will definitely come in question 3. There are only two salary determination methods. They are piecemeal and time related. So, piecemeal workers are paid according to the number of items produced. For example, if you produce 20 tables, you will only get paid according to the amount of tables you then sell or produce. If you produce that 20 tables, you're only going to get paid for that 20 tables or get paid per table. With time related is you will then get paid for the amount of hours you are working, no matter how many tables you have made. So you need to know the difference between piecemeal and time related. Once again, piecemeal, you're getting paid per item you make. Time related, you are getting paid per hour or the amount of hours or time that you are working. The legislation. Once again, legislation has taken place in business environments and too will take place in the HR management. Reason being, we now need to look at the implication of the act on the HR function. So, LRA, Labor Relations Act, workers can be dismissed easily because the CCMA's processes have to be followed. The HR must allow workers to form workplace forums or unions, as well as promote negotiations and employee participation in decision making. Employment Equity Act ensure equal pay for all workers of equal value. Meaning, if I do the same work as one of my colleagues, we need to get paid the same amount of money. Ensure that affirmative action promotes diversity in the workplace, as well as set employment equity plan and monitor it regularly. Skills Development Act ensure training in the workplace is structured, identify the training needs of the employees, and provide them with training opportunities. Very important. Once you come into a workplace, you need to be trained before you go onto the floor and do the job, because you need to understand what is going on and what you're about to do. HR or HRM must set up training programs according to the SDA objectives. Basic Conditions of Employment Act, Very important, you need to know this. Workers only work 9 hours for a 5-day week or 8 hours for a 6-day week. What does that mean? If you're working a job from Monday to Friday, the most amount of hours you can work is 9 hours. And for a 6-day week, Monday to Saturday, you can only work 8 hours and not more. Overtime is no more than 10 hours per week, a break of 60 minutes after every 5 hours of work. 6 week sick leave in a cycle of 36 months, meaning you will get 6 weeks leave over a period of 3 years. That you need to know because that will come in, guys. Everything that I've displayed on the screen for you, you need to now screenshot each of that and write it down in your notebook, as this is summarized notes for you. Everything that is here, if you memorize everything, you understand everything, then you are well set and prepared for the examination. We move on. The frequently asked questions in the examination, please screenshot this and then answer it on your own. Firstly, the recruitment. Explain the meaning of recruitment, outline the recruitment procedure, explain the meaning of job analysis, distinguish between job description and job specification, discuss the impact of internal or external recruitment methods. Remember, internal inside of the business, external outside of the business. Selection, outline the selection procedure, discuss the role of the interviewer before and or during the interview. Very important, that always comes in, guys. Discuss the role of the interviewee during the interview. Also outline the legal requirements of the employment contract. Explain the reasons for termination of an employment contract. So what happens here? The defensive strategy in the business environment takes place as retrenchment will be one of the reasons for the termination of an employment contract. Induction, the questions that will be asked, discuss the purpose of induction, outline aspects that must be included in the induction program, and discuss the benefits of induction for businesses. Placement, outline the placement procedure, explain the importance of training, skills development in HR, the salary determination. All you need to know here, and the only thing that you actually need to know here, is piecemeal and time related. Piecemeal, you get paid per item that is being made. Time related, you are paying per hour or the amount of time that you are working. Your fringe benefits, you need to give examples such as, again, your housing allowance, your car allowance, your provident fund, as well as your medical aid. You need to evaluate the impact of the fringe benefits, meaning positives and negatives. Your legislation, you'll discuss the implications of the LRA, BCEA, EEA, and STA. Once you know all of these, you will then be set for the HR part of operations as well as TQM, which means you will then be set for the overall question of business operations. I have now explained last week business environment, and this week business operation. That means you are now set and you have everything that you need to study for paper 1. Business operation, question 1 is compulsory, question 2 would be business environments, question 3 and 4. Question 3 would be business operations, question 4 would be miscellaneous, a mixture of business environments and business operations. You now need to select 2 questions in section B, and 1 question in section C would be an essay either on business environments or an essay on business operations. In the weeks to come, we would go over more questions or questions that will seem to be in this year's question paper. We will go over in time to come in the future after I'm done explaining business roles and business ventures. Thank you for listening and for your cooperation. My name is Imraan Majiet, and I'll now hand over to Juanita.
And shukran for tuning in to today's session. Remember, you can view the lesson on our Facebook and YouTube channels. They are recorded. Please do share the links with any matriculants who can benefit from these sessions. And inshallah, we'll be back on Friday once again, where we bring you the English lesson with teacher Nishat Dastagir, as well as Sheikh Nasser Barnes, bringing us the Arabic revision session. From myself, Kanita Kamar, and our guest this afternoon, we bid you farewell. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.